Americans and other Western 21st century people are extremely introspective. Our first inclination when reading the Bible is to do so in an eminently personal, individualistic way. This perspective seeks a psychological interpretation. What's going on inside me? Can I relate my feelings to these feelings? What does the text say to me? The entire Bible was written by anti-introspective people. Anti-introspective people rely on external appearances for judging others. They must develop a skill for creating and projecting appearances. In order to win a positive judgment from others, and thereby gain a grant of honor from them, Mediterranean people learn to put up a front, to wear a mask. In the Gospel called Luke, devious questioners hope to trip Jesus up and publicly humiliate him by paying him false compliments, by saying, "Teacher, we know that you show no favor to anyone." Literally in the Greek, "You do not lift up the face." While many people were unable to judge by more than what they saw, some, like Jesus, could see through human masks. This was extraordinary. Look at how the Lucan Jesus understands all this from this Sunday's Gospel. Luke chapter 6, verses 39 through 45. Jesus told his disciples a parable. Can a blind man guide a blind man? Will not both fall into a pit? No disciple is superior to the teacher, but when fully trained, every disciple will be like his teacher. Why do you notice the splinter in your brother's eye, but do not perceive the wooden beam in your own? How can you say to your brother, "Brother, let me remove that splinter in your eye," when you do not even notice the wooden beam in your own eye? Hypocrite! Remove the wooden beam from your eye first. Then you will see clearly to remove the splinter in your brother's eye. A good tree does not bear rotten fruit, nor does a rotten tree bear good fruit. For every tree is known by its own fruit. People don't pick figs from thorn bushes, nor do they gather grapes from brambles. The good human out of the store of goodness in his heart produces good, and the evil out of the evil produces evil. For from the fullness of the heart the mouth speaks. Try to imagine the scenario of would-be teachers or leaders who are experts at putting on masks and offering advice to others regarding moral improvement. It is so very easy to imagine such a scene in the Middle East. It happens there all the time. Audiences there constantly wonder about the teacher, and the teacher always strives to put on his best front. The peasant day laborer turned folk healer Jesus, however, calls these teachers hypocrites, his favorite insult. In classical and Hellenistic Greek, this word meant interpreter, expounder, orator, even stage actor. The ancient Mediterranean actors were mask wearers. They may have expounded the correct lines, but the man behind the mask did not live in such a way that corresponded to the script. The Greek word hypokrita, or hypocritai, where we get our word hypocrite from, therefore took on the added meaning of deceiver and pretender. In theater, that would be an award-winning skill. But in reality, even in Mediterranean culture, this skill and strategy makes life difficult. Whom can one trust?
Most significant insult in the Gospels is the word hypocrite, which in Greek, hypocrites, you just change one letter, the C to a K, hypocrites, it means actor. It means actor. So let me show you how it works. Matthew's Gospel starts in chapter 6, and it's his favorite word for his favorite enemies, opponents, the Pharisees. So starting in 6:2, when you give alms, sound no trumpet before you as the actors do. Wherever you see hypocrites, scratch it out and write in actors. Well, what do the actors do when they give a donation to the Danny Thomas Hospital or something? Have a press conference, give a press release. Jesus said, don't do that. Pardon? Here I said, go on TV. In verse 5, and when you pray, don't be like the actors. Well, actors like an audience. So the actors are going to always do things for an audience.
In the Synoptic Gospels, Mark, Matthew, and Luke, only Jesus uses the word hypocritai to criticize certain people. Here in this Sunday's Gospel, the Lucan Jesus identifies misguided teachers and leaders as such. Later in this Gospel called Luke, he labels the crowd hypocritai, actors, who know how to interpret the appearance, literally to interpret the face, of the earth and sky vault, but not how to interpret the present time. Later on, Jesus again scolds the crowd who object to his healing a woman on the Sabbath. Hypocrite! Don't you rescue your ox or donkey on the Sabbath when necessary? Why should I not rescue this woman? In each instance, the Lucan Jesus sees right through the facades, right through the masks each group constructs. In the Sermon on the Plain, the Lucan Jesus exhorts his listeners to candid self-examination and authentic efforts to improve their group self before attempting to help others improve themselves. Short of this effect, such teachers and leaders are blind, unreliable, and untrustworthy. They are deceivers, actors, mask wearers, hypocrites. Another way of identifying hypocrites in the ancient world was to notice how their behavior was inconsistent. Our ancestors in the faith believed that human beings should behave consistently, even though many of them did not. How was consistency determined by our biblical ancestors in the faith? The human body, and human existence itself, could be and was divided into three distinct yet interpenetrating symbolic zones: eyes, heart, mouth, ears, and hands, feet. The eyes, heart, body zone were where the eyes gathered information that the heart needs for making judgments. The mouth, ears, body zone, those are the organs that collect and share self-expressive speech. And the hands, feet, body zone, the body parts that act upon or implement what one has learned or knows. Eyes, heart. We see the Lucan Jesus speaking of teachers and guides with flawed vision. He noted that heart's potential for producing both good and evil. He urged that teachers strive to develop proper vision and insight and a good heart. Mouth, ears. For Jesus, it is clearly imperative that an Israelite cultivate a good heart that will produce good fruit, for it is out of the abundance of the heart that the mouth speaks, words that others will hear, remember, and act upon. Hands, feet. Speaking alone is not enough. The Lucan Jesus says, "Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not do what I tell you?" It is imperative to act upon what one knows, to live according to what one has learned. That is how all Israelites understood truth. That is how the human person acts consistently, with all the symbolic body parts in sync. Heart, eyes, mouth, ears, hands, feet. In other words, it is crucially important that one's emotion-fused thoughts, heart, eyes, self-expressive speech, mouth, ears, and purposeful activity, hands, feet, be perfectly coordinated. This is living consistently. Anything else is hypocrisy, stage acting, and mask wearing. When reading the Bible or hearing the Gospels proclaimed, in a way, we are eavesdropping and spying on our biblical ancestors in the faith. If our ancestors in the faith could spy on us as we are spying on them, they would consider us 21st century Western people as strange and alien as we consider them. But on this much we would all agree. Human beings owe each other and God honesty and integrity in every dimension of life.